Good evening, this is Gambian Talents News in English with me, Funejalo. Our top stories. President Adam Barrow continues his nationwide tour, inspecting key development projects across Combo South and the West Coast. 49 security officers graduate from an intensive joint counter-terrorism training program. Lands Minister Ahmad Bar accused investigators of bias in the parliamentary inquiry into former President Yahya Jammeh's assets. This and more news after this short break. Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, this is Gttv News in English with me, Funejalo. President Adam Barrow is continuing his nationwide tour across Combo South and the West Coast, visiting development projects and meeting local communities. The president inspected roads, bridges, and agricultural initiatives aimed at boosting livelihoods and modernizing the country. Officials say the tour is part of a broader effort to ensure that development projects meet community needs and accelerate progress nationwide. President Adam Barrow continued his site visits and nationwide tour within Combo South and the West Coast region on Monday, 24th November 2025. The president and his delegation began their first inspection visit at Lot 8 in Gunjur before proceeding to Lot 9 in Sanyang. The Lot 8 project in Gunjur stretches from the Brusabi-Katong Highway to the Gunjur seaside. The 4.5-kilometer road is expected to be a modern standard road fitted with streetlights. He later proceeded to the Jamanjeri Mixed Farming Center, a 6-hectare agricultural complex established to promote modern farming techniques. The facility has introduced advanced vegetable production methods, including farming models and irrigation systems. President Barrow then moved to Farato, where he held a community meeting the same day. The Minister of Works, Honorable Ibrahim Silla, thanked the people of Busumbala for their support to President Barrow. He assured them that road construction in their area would begin soon, noting that it is already part of their development plans. He further stated that development requires collective support and urged everyone to rally behind President Barrow as he continues to develop the country. The minister also outlined the criteria for obtaining a voter's card in the Gambia. He added that plans to rebuild the Brikama market are already in place, but the project has been temporarily held due to resistance from the chairman of the Brikama Area Council.
His Excellency President Adam Barrow Kunu, Brikama, ay kumol fo min yalon ko wolle be dending alama sakunda lafta dema rol min kala anin do ko min kala min be dending marcela ko walla Gambia journalist on lafta le kayto li tandi ale kayto jibe ñemu Brikama la marcela mi yalon ko nga plano be da dala marce kantin wulikilin kantin keme fula wala bi jam fokabal niaja mandada Brikama Area Council la manya aniye fitno mi wulendi koy ka mansa kundala samba kitela ko ntol nyanta ngarse mi yalon ko mansa kunda yalo nyanta mbulo bala ko non wo kitiye be kerin tol nyanta mansa mi lola ngam fana ngam mbulo mutawola wodo Brikama ko lu West Coast dingol niya jalla marse mallo alta la chairman woni kana la council alga in kay ci do min jeten wo mu tangé marselet mi yalon ko 100 meters by 150 meters tangé ko le keno dinna fakabal nga ko do be hayma wodo ko nyanta kala pour ka tangé moluke makoy ani wodan na wala marse sahaya no soto modern marse mi yalon ko ani wota tarani banko kanja alla Brikama Area Council wulita iko Brikama marse mi yalon ko His Excellency President Adama Barrow mansa kundale yalo yeda bondi wo marse la ko kon ye kiti ya wulindi ngo west coast ngo le ko ba al chairman wala babula tolle quartier diale tolle nyanta jan marcelo lali oto tanje ko al fanale taje marcelo wali nale nyin kay plan do min jaten womu coastal road la marcelo ngo fana be dadale nga plano be dada nga budget o dada ado ko nyanta dat la o 5 kilingol la alla nyembri kama area council kilingo I wuli tanan ye fitno wulindi masakunda kan ye kidiyo wulindi masakunda ye bulo muta iko ka alta marché de coastal road ala ta je fana doku bari ngalo ni nyamo min fa bi je wobi ka kono nyim plan do mi yalon ka bi tay wam burfoot marché let alkalo bi janne ye keno dinna mi yalon ka tata 150 meters by 200 meters ngombina la marcelo la burfoot itariata burfoot la marseille ya karakil mo beboy itata be won la loje ko marcelo wot ndol ngam bulo muta oto burfoot ngolu president adama barola gagné ta police station ol beto mi yalon ka be burfoot ba ne ajal mam marcel soto council ole balbul min yalon ko wolbe fitno la kan central government kamba ntolman time o soto kiti la ni nyum kunta yakol president adama barobe development on binke kanjang atol be yajel.
President Barrow thanked his supporters for turning out in large numbers. He criticized the Brikama Area Council, saying it lacks the competence required to drive development. He promised the people of Busumbala that his government will build a new market in the town as part of their development agenda. The president also highlighted the major projects his government has implemented in the West Coast region.
Oto kombo ngol denga mira ko
kon wa kombo man foknale
politiko ko non nene man ñim mistake sifa ke nga ñim mistake ko menke ka député ni councilor ni chairman on di opposition on
fokna mistake bi def ko do def mistake ko bari chairman ak député ak councilor
wayre kombo sulata menna
ngir kombo sufi kombo lim soxla
opposition o de o keno la kombo
opposition mu leen ko defal
ite jiyo dino la
ñu mëna indi ndox
ite courant dino lal ite silo dino lal ite loptano dino lal ando ay leñi ngaja sa ni te nata wota ya di le député le maire opposition lo
yow so ñëwé jital ko xamné ni opposition bi député
inata di chairman le maire opposition lo
ka jox chairman council bi opposition
ni ko me soro je fana fa moy tawtal
kon nak lu la fa fekk nak lolu ya ko tek sa bop
iko ni sewoye menking
mune mam alla wala mam ko humata
itawtale wayri ya ñingol jelon jannabe kin
ya ko tay joddo ko ni mam ko
ndenga mira mistake ba wala ketaje
man fonna erreur bu reuy mo fi amone
sa ya tata le fo itel fo ñanta kol men kela
dem na be tollu bo xamne ñom sax li wara liggé ñom kanto
ibu ko wol fol keno
mënu ñoo def ni liggé seen liggé
sila ningo men dum de sati wol ko ne te law ñanta do ko ne bu ko do ko
yoon yu ndaw yi nga xamne ni ñu ci biir déggé ñom ñoo ko wara liggé
alla marché wol te la ñantelo lay bu ke lono
marché yi wara nekk ci déggé édé kanto ñoo ko wara liggé mënu ko def
ko men be soneata ko beeti
liggé na yomba ci liggé yi yépp
wala pour kan la mbalito ko
moy seen mbali
kada o fay
dem sanni ci mbali
hani wo fana bu ka keno
loolu sax édé kanto mënu ko def
oto wol yaltel nafa mu ne la
kon ñooñu édé kanto lu leen jël
janne kera ñinin kar taati
lii moo war a nekk lu laaj war a laajte
ale opposition men sindi jang
opposition yi ngeen fal fii
won mu opposition sifal menti
ñooñu dañ nekk façon opposition yoo xam
itel te tala ibel la fi do fana eta
ñoom luñ dem bugul keneen dem
wayri ngalo nata e lafta ñaato tala nu
foog nga ne suñ bëggoon yokkute
ni man men do kuno
ñoom luñ mënut a liggéey
yalla ko ita kenola
yoo xam ne mënuñ koo def
man sakunda be gambia ko no jang
te nguur gaa ci réew mi fii
ina ñanta fere kala ni o man sakunda yal bulo du ñoo bulo ko no ina sulato do ko men ne o sikke la dulal
yow su fekkee da nga muus da nga war a dem ci nguur gi gis ne nga jokkoo nguur gi li ñu war a liggéeyal ñu
bari sa alla musumbala député
waaye seen député Busumbala
ale
anamu tey
atena la jang
su fi ñëw fii
andu janno bante baati al ñante dante la dame pour al yalla do ko sonno
te fii mooy penk bi ngeen war a wax seen soxla yi leen mën a defal
ñim musumbala silo atela ñante fa la jang
yooni Busumbala yi moom waroon a tawal fii
man sakunda sata naay ñoo mako nga jando
nguur gi jël ko ñu jàppalante liggéey ko
ale
anamu
yaro mu député la ti
xam nga kooku député la
ate tala bara amal la fi do fana eta
moom du dem bëggul ñeneen dem
ate ku kele amal la fi moye ku ke fana
du la defal dara bëggul keneen defal leen dara
ate ku naati le bara amal la fi mo fana ku naati e fana
du leen indil dara bëggul keneen indi leen ci dara
woto ñi mu kule di meelo ñanta hakkilo tulato baake baake
loolu
baake
ñu
baake
bokkay lii luñ war a bàyyi suñu xel bu baax la
bare ministre Ibrahima Silla
waaye honorable Ibrahima Silla ministre
ngamiram be kol falinnale
foog naa dinañ suppali mbir yi
ndel tetel juube la
ñun duñ leen toppa
mbenna molla juube la
ñun dañooy seetu nit ñi askan wi
wari ol yundu marché o nin tata je nimbe tambila je
yooni marché ol ñun su ma fay romba be gis ko
mbalo ka tara faari wolle baake 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 baake
ma yaram dafay ndaw trop foofu
andu na molle be je
te suñ nit ñi ñoo fa nekk
ndel buka lempo ko rek je ñaawo ñaa
ñun duñ fa jël leen ko
bari bañi responsibility diile la
waaye dinañ jox responsabilité
nga ol yundum juube be mu nekkee no loy je
seen waa ol ñun dum naa leen leen mën a defal foofu
hani maaki beeke fanan
même su deful yëpp sax
bari ci feere ke nga fenki je
waaye dinañ fexe ñu def loo xam
mais ko musol mel be siri silol kam
su ko defee jigéen ñi toog ci yoon bi di jaay
nsi marché kendo ke nga jonko kendo ke sina kono to se firo ki je ye tara buña kono ye tara hormo kono ini police le fata ñorola.
President Barrow will resume his site visits and nationwide tour on Saturday, 29 November 2025 within Kumba South and the surrounding districts. Reporting for Gttv News, I am Funejalo. In security news, 49 officers from the military and police have graduated from an intensive joint counter-terrorism training program. The program, conducted in partnership with the Islamic Military Counter-Terrorism Coalition, focused on modern tactics, rapid response, and coordinated operations to prepare security agencies for emergency threats. Aissatou Koli reports.
The graduation ceremony took place at the GAF Training School in Fajara, bringing together senior Gambian military officials, instructors from Saudi Arabia, and invited guests. 49 officers, including 24 soldiers and 25 police personnel, were awarded certificates, marking the completion of a 3-week course designed to sharpen their counter-terrorism skills. The officers, drawn from the Gambia Armed Forces Counter-Terrorism Unit and the Police Intervention Unit, underwent intensive training covering tactical movement, weapons handling, fire support drills, grenade deployment, and joint operations planning. Speaking on behalf of the graduates, WO2 Mane Kemo expressed gratitude to both the Gambia and Saudi governments. He said the program had not only enhanced their operational skills, but also reinforced the importance of interagency cooperation and continuous professional development in ensuring national security.
I would especially like to thank the Gambia and Saudi government for organizing such a magnificent training package for the counterterrorism unit of the Gambia Armed Forces and the Police Intervention Unit. To the Chief of Guests of Honor, your presence here boosted our morals, and your thought of initiative such training under your leadership have inspired us all. I would like to say thank you to the Chief of Defense Staff and the Director of Training and Doctrine with support staffs from Defense Headquarters for coordinating throughout for the success of this special course. Even such courses students, we felt their interest and support. I thank you. To the training team from Saudi, that is the instructors Eric and Milo, for making this course very educative, although challenging.
Brigadier General Yaya Drame, Commander of the Republican National Guard, delivering remarks on behalf of the Chief of Defense Staff, highlighted the strategic impact of the training. He said the graduates are now better equipped to respond decisively to emergencies, contributing not only to the Gambia's internal security, but also to broader regional stability.
This course is a clear testament of the strong military cooperation within the Gambia and the Saudi government, particularly the Islamic Military Counterterrorism Coalition. They were able to provide the sponsor, they were able to sponsor it and conduct the training in the Gambia. This must be through good bilateral and good relations. Your expertise, professionalism, and dedication in CRE knowledge has been instrumental to the success of this training. We are grateful for your contribution towards enhancing the capability of our security personnel. Your efforts have not only equipped our personnel with the requisite knowledge, but it has also given us the way to combat terrorism, and this will foster a greater understanding and cooperation.
General Drame stressed that national security cannot be achieved in isolation. Cooperation between military and police forces, he said, is central to safeguarding the nation. The exercise demonstrated that when institutions work collectively and shared information effectively, the country's overall security posture is significantly strengthened.
So you could understand that this training is both the military and the police. We are not to do any other thing apart from working jointly, because if you work together, we will solve a bigger problem. It's always not competition, but the fact is that it's putting our all hands on deck, everybody participating. We are not competing. We are for the fact that ensuring the security of this nation is ensured. When you hear it, when you see it, when you suspect it, CID information, do not hoard it. Any of the agencies, we should be sharing more information about what's happening, intel and whatever, so that we will respond swiftly. Because terrorism is a very, very weird thing. When it starts, how to fight it, do not allow it to get out of the knob. Put it there so that it will not come up. But the moment it starts, you must fight it collectively.
Saudi instructors led the program in collaboration with the Gulf Training School, ensuring that participants receive practical, hands-on experience alongside theoretical knowledge. Security officials say this is just the beginning. Similar joint programs are expected to continue, forming a key part of the Gambia's broader efforts to modernize its counter-terrorism capabilities and prepare its forces for the challenges of today and tomorrow. Reporting for Gttv News, Aissatou Kuli.
Lands and Religious Affairs Minister Ahmad Bar has accused investigators of bias during the parliamentary probe into former President Yahya Jammeh's assets. Mr. Barr said he appeared before the committee to clarify misinformation and disinformation surrounding the sale of Jammeh's assets since 2017, adding that this misinformation could threaten national security and unity. Let's take a listen.
It was during this appearance before the parliamentary inquiry that Minister Ahmad Bar delivered a rare and unexpected rebuke. The committee is reviewing the disposal of former President Yahya Jammeh's assets, properties and businesses seized by the state after his departure in 2017. Lawmakers are examining whether any public officials or private individuals may have improperly benefited from the process. But the minister told the inquiry that the investigators questioning during his preliminary interview was, in his words, deliberate and targeted. The individuals named by Mr. Ba include former Justice Minister Abubakar Batambedu, Binta Sise and Alpha Bari, all of whom have had interactions with the state institutions during the Jammeh-era asset disposal process. Committee members did not immediately respond to minister's claims, but several appeared taken aback by the allegations of bias directed at their investigative team. Committee members did not immediately respond to the minister's claims, but several appeared taken aback by the allegation of bias directed at their investigative team. The inquiry is one of the several efforts aimed at revisiting decisions made during the transition period following Jammeh's exit from power. It is expected to continue hearing from public officials and private actors as lawmakers seek clarity on how the seized assets were valued, managed, and eventually sold. The parliamentary committee has not yet issued any response to the minister's accusations. For now, the inquiry continues, with more witnesses expected to be called in the coming days. Reporting for Gttv News, Aisa Tukuli.
Finally, the government has inaugurated the National Madrasa Board, a major step in modernizing religious education. The board aims to standardize madrasa education, improve curriculum, and ensure students have equal access to academic and professional opportunities. More on this report. On Wednesday, 26 November 2025, the inauguration took place at the Ministry's Conference Hall in Kanifing. The National Madrasa Board, or NMB, will oversee the development, evolution, and harmonization of madrasa education within the Gambia's national education system. Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Jenaba Jain, described the inauguration as a milestone marking a starting point for evaluating and strengthening education across the country. She highlighted the Madrasa Integration Strategy GMIS 2025-2029 launched earlier this year by President Adama Barrow as evidence of the government's commitment to equity, inclusion and reconciliation of madrasa education as part of the national curriculum. She noted that for generations, madrasas and masjids have shaped the moral, spiritual and intellectual development of Gambians. However, as revealed by the GMIS and the National Madrasa Survey, students and institutions continue to face significant challenges. Prasamba Balde, chairperson of the National Madrasa Board, thanked the ministry and the Gambian government for their vision. He said, "This is the first coordinated effort to harmonize and standardize madrasa education nationwide. With the growing numbers of students graduating from these institutions, the board will help ensure equity education and equal treatment across all madrasa." The Minister of Higher Education described the board as part of a broader vision where madrasa learners are heard and no one is excluded. He highlighted the need for madrasa students to engage with science and modern subjects, drawing parallel with Arab countries that integrate Arabic and scientific education. The minister emphasized that the board will harmonize education, ensure equity, and oversee grading systems fairly.
Socio-economic development, a vision that respects and preserves our Islamic values while creating pathways for opportunity, innovation, and national progress. A vision that allows democracy to be complete a vision that does not exclude, a vision that allows everybody to come on board, a vision that implements the clear strategy laid down by His Excellency President Adama Barrow, that his government doesn't exclude. His government embraces everybody, wherever you come from, whatever faith you have, whatever you are professing, wherever you're coming from, which region you are coming from. And therefore, as I said, democracy cannot be complete if we have our brothers and sisters in the madrasa excluded for 60 good years. And then you talk about development. And then you talk about democracy. And they are paying tax like anybody else. Yet that same tax is not equally distributed.
Concluded by congratulating the appointed board members, noting that appointments were based on experience and merit, sign aligning the government's commitment to professional and inclusive management of religious education. Reporting for Gttv News, I am Funejala. Well, from that story, we'll take a short break. Welcome back. In entertainment news, Gambian artist Hussein Dada has outlined the inspiration behind his upcoming album, Sanji Jelu, as he prepared for his launch next month. Speaking at a press conference in Bijilo, he said the project reflects his personal growth as a desire to create music with global reach. Organizers have also promised tight security ahead of the concert, which is set for 13th December. Modulamin Job reports.
Speaking in Banjul on Saturday, 22nd November 2025, Hussein Dada, the Sokoto-born artist, confirmed that the album will be launched on 13 December at the GCCI grounds in Bijilo. Addressing journalists, Hussein Dada outlined the inspiration behind the project, describing it as a reflection of his personal growth and artistic evolution.
What really inspired the album Sanji Jalu is just me as a person, growing, and evolving, developing myself, tell myself that this time around I want to come with something different. I want to come up with sounds that people can listen to from all around the world.
He told reporters that the turning point came when he realized that music extends beyond borders.
So the whole inspiration came just by me having a sudden awareness that music could just be bigger than one person. Music could just be bigger than just the nation Gambia. Music could go worldwide. That's what actually inspired the whole album, diving into different sounds that people can listen to from all regions around the world. That's what inspired the album itself.
Event production head Ida Bitwell also spoke at the briefing, assuring fans that security will be a top priority on the night of the concert.
Very, very prepared, because the thing is with the security, that's right now our number one priority. So what we did is, as a team, Ibrahima is making sure he's taking care of a lot of other things, but then the security part of it, we have to make sure everything is settled. So we actually wrote a letter to the IGP, which we're trying to meet him this week, because we need as many securities as possible. Like I said, we're not playing with the security this time around, because the venue itself needs enough security. So we definitely have to make sure that people are comfortable, they're there, they paid their money to enjoy, and they will definitely get that. So on that part, I can assure you the security this year is going to be massive.
Closing the press conference, Hussein Dada responded to criticism that Gambian artists release albums too frequently. He added that annual concerts are necessary for artists operating in a small market like the Gambia, where streaming revenue alone is not enough.
And due to the way that Gambian music goes and the population rate in Gambia, you don't depend on streams for you to have income. You depend on shows. So if we're not doing the shows, which means that less income is coming for us, right? So this is why we're constantly working hard and hard and hard to see that every year we're going to come up with albums that people can listen to so that they can come to the show and enjoy themselves at the end of the day. But at the back of our mind, we're still hopeful that this music will actually travel global so that tomorrow you don't need to do an album all the time. You can have one album sustaining you for like 3-4 years for you to be able to relax and figure out what to do next on the next album.
Reporting for Gttv News, I am Modlamin Job.
That brings us to the end of this program, but before we take a leave of you, let's recap our top stories. President Adama Barrow continues his nationwide tour, inspecting key development projects across Combo South and the West Coast. 49 security officers graduate from an intensive joint counter-terrorism training program. Lance Minister Ahmad Bar accused investigators of bias in the parliamentary inquiry into former President Yahya Jammeh's assets. Thank you for your company. I have been your presenter in this news program. My name is Funijala. Thank you. Bye.